Michael Jordan wasn't just the most dominant player of his time. By 1996, he was already considered the greatest of all time.
Michael, get it pulled with a fresh shot clock. MJ. Oh, he did it! Michael shakes the face.
Solidifying his status after clinching his 4th championship ring.
And my favorite, the '96 Chicago Bulls.
But on a cold December night that same year, he faced a team that would represent the future of the NBA. This wasn't just any matchup. It was the beginning of a new era. That night, the Chicago Bulls took on the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that had just brought in 2 of the most electrifying newcomers, Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant. Although they were still far from becoming the iconic duo they would later be, they were hungry, ambitious, and eager to prove themselves. The Lakers had just acquired Shaq through free agency and drafted the young Kobe Bryant, and both were ready to stake their claim to NBA greatness. But this was still Jordan's league, a league he ruled with a level of confidence and ego that wouldn't allow any young challengers to simply waltz in and take over. Their swagger, their attitude, none of it mattered to MJ. In his mind, they were miles away from his throne. Jordan's mindset was unique, and it was what separated him from everyone else. Many debates circle around who the greatest player is, but for Jordan, it was never about that.
It's debated. Who's the greatest player of all time? Dumb question. It should be, who's the greatest team of all time?
And on December 17th, 1996, it was more than just a game. It was a clash between 2 NBA generations. A battle where one side was fighting to maintain dominance, while the other sought to usher in a new era. The outcome of that night wasn't just another game result. It was a preview of what the future of basketball would hold. Kobe Bryant had always idolized Michael Jordan. Growing up, he emulated everything about MJ, his style, his moves, and his relentless competitiveness. But now, at just 18 years old, he was no longer just a fan. He was an opponent. This was his first real chance to stand toe-to-toe with the man he admired, and Kobe, ever the competitor, wasn't just there to watch. He was there to win. But until then, he has had nothing to say to Jordan since.
You only got 3 now, I got 6. I can't say none of that.
Standing beside him was Shaq, the newly signed superstar who had joined the Lakers with the aim of turning them back into contenders. But the task wasn't easy. This was the peak of the Jordan era. In 1996, Michael Jordan was already a 4-time MVP, 4-time NBA champion, and 4-time Finals MVP. He had returned to the league after a brief retirement and managed to reclaim the top spot. That time away only added to the mystique of the man who was considered the best to ever do it. But even for someone like MJ, there was still more to accomplish before he'd call it a career. That night in December, the stage was set for a game that symbolized more than just 2 teams going head-to-head. It was a duel between 2 generations, one defending their throne, the other ready to seize it. Michael Jordan's Bulls were already at the top. Kobe and Shaq's Lakers had everything to prove. It was a clash of wills. 2 young, hungry players wanting to conquer the basketball world against the unwavering ego of one of the most fiercely dominant players in NBA history. The Bulls, riding high with a record of 21 wins and 3 losses, were well aware that this wouldn't be an easy game, especially with Luke Longley, their starting center, out due to injury. Without him, they'd have to rely on Bill Wennington, who had the daunting task of trying to stop Shaquille O'Neal. The Lakers came into the game with a record of 18 wins and 8 losses, hoping to use their strength in the paint to their advantage against the depleted Bulls. From the tip-off at the United Center, it was clear the Bulls had a game plan. Get the ball to Jordan in the low post whenever possible. Phil Jackson knew where their strengths lay, and MJ wasted no time reminding everyone why he was untouchable. Not even Shaq's help defense could prevent Jordan from hitting difficult shots. Even the TV crew seemed in awe, replaying the highlights in slow motion to savor every moment. But MJ wasn't the only one putting on a show. Shaquille O'Neal quickly asserted his dominance, showing everyone why many already considered him the best center in the league. His physicality was unmatched, and throughout the first quarter, he bullied his way to easy points, often drawing double or even triple teams that couldn't stop him. Despite Shaq's imposing presence, Jordan continued to work his magic. Whether it was a signature fadeaway jumper or drawing fouls on aggressive drives to the rim, he made sure to keep the pressure on. And when defenses collapsed on him, he made smart plays, like finding Scottie Pippen on the wing for an open three. In that first quarter, the Lakers defenders were relentless, but so was Jordan. It was a test of wills, and the Lakers, boasting the 8th best defense in the league, were more than up to the task. However, the Lakers were prepared, and their game plan was paying off. They exploited the Bulls' weakened interior, attacking the paint at will, with Shaq leading the charge. The Lakers finished the first quarter up 36-22, with Shaq dominating inside and Nick Van Exel getting off to a hot start. Meanwhile, a rookie Kobe Bryant was watching patiently from the bench, waiting for his opportunity. As the second quarter began, Michael Jordan took a brief rest, and the Bulls managed to hang on despite their star being out. When he re-entered the game, something significant happened. Kobe Bryant checked in at the exact same time. The torch had unofficially been passed, even if it was just for a few minutes. Kobe's first play was a three-pointer from the wing, and he nailed it. But Jordan wasn't about to be outdone. On his first possession back, he isolated against Kobe, drove to the paint, and finished with authority. It was a classic move, reminding everyone that while Kobe was promising, MJ was still king.
For the first time at the United Center, I got thrown into the fire. We made a nice baseline spin move on me. I knew it was coming. He was just so strong. By the time I tried to body him off of me, he just swatted me away like a fly.
Not long after, Kobe responded with a layup. But this was the moment where Jordan began to take over. Throughout the quarter, Jordan's mid-range game was on full display. After a Dennis Rodman offensive rebound, he found MJ, who calmly knocked down a jumper. Even when Jordan missed, he made up for it by grabbing offensive rebounds and scoring on the putback. His aggression never waned, and he was always looking for opportunities, whether drawing fouls or setting up his teammates. On defense, he was just as sharp, causing turnovers and exploiting mismatches. By halftime, Jordan had put up 20 points, but the Bulls were still down 15. Shaq was relentless, finishing the half with 23 points and 6 rebounds, and the Lakers were clearly outplaying the defending champions. The third quarter was a struggle for Jordan. His shots, which were falling in the first half, were now rimming out. Meanwhile, Shaq continued to dominate, scoring with ease against double teams that might as well have been invisible. The Lakers looked poised to run away with the game, but Jordan wasn't giving up. He found Pippen for open shots, and though they didn't always fall, the effort was there. With the game slipping away, Jordan found himself leaning on Tony Kukoc, who began hitting shots to keep the Bulls in it. As the game entered the fourth quarter, the Lakers held a commanding 101-83 lead. The United Center was subdued, the energy drained by a disappointing performance from the home team. But the game wasn't over. Slowly, Jordan, Pippen, and Kukoc chipped away at the lead. Every play was a battle, and as the clock wound down, the tension rose. A controversial foul call on Jordan almost derailed their comeback, but a clutch three-pointer from Kukoc tied the game at 116, sending it into overtime. In the first play of overtime, Jordan continued to show why he was the best. He baited Shaq into a double team, then forced the turnover and used his high basketball IQ to keep the Bulls' momentum going, and even managed to get under the Lakers' skin, causing a near brawl between Shaq and Dennis Rodman. And Tony Kukoc was on fire, raining in 3 after 3 on Shaq, who wasn't an effective perimeter defender. By the time the final whistle blew, the Bulls had come back from a 22-point deficit to win, proving that this was still their era. The Lakers might have been the future, but on that December night, they were no match for the GOAT. Had they won, the Lakers' confidence would have soared, and the narrative could have shifted much earlier. But that's not how things played out. Michael Jordan extended his dominance for 2 more seasons, winning rings in 1997 and 98 before his second retirement. During his reign, no one else had a chance to shine, not even the Lakers' bright young stars. For Kobe, it was a learning experience, one that he carried with him throughout his career. That night's game wasn't just about who scored more points. It was a statement. The Jordan era wasn't over, and no amount of youthful exuberance was going to change that. MJ's dominance added to his legacy, further solidifying his case as the greatest of all time, even as debates over who holds that title rage on. And that's how it went down. The outcome of that game foreshadowed the next decade of the NBA, and it all started with a clash of eras on a chilly night in Chicago. Let us know what you thought of the video in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.